Hey, look at this. Our solo camera's back. Wow, how cool. See me, John Radigan. Ready for the DLLS Rangers podcast. Oh, it is a long process. It's, as we've mentioned many times, a long off season and a long process to get this thing, sort of this ship sailing. And that's a process that Skip Schumaker is under right now. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson. We've got the Queen Cat over here as she gets things ready. And we've got Jackie Flores. Jackie Flores just became a member. We appreciate Jackie very much.
Chatter of the day.
Yeah.
Already.
Yep, we appreciate you, Jackie.
We're awarding Jackie early on in the show.
We appreciate you very much. And what the heck, Jake, since we're looking at the chat, he's been around for a year. I hope the players trust Skip. This is, and I appreciate the question or the comment, this is the distinction here. Of course, they trust him as a human being. He's very trustworthy. He's very easy to trust and like. Where the trust needs to come in is when he says, let's do it this way. Everybody believes that's the best way to do it. And it's for any coach in any sport at any time. And sometimes it's not until what coach says works that there's total buy-in.
You know, and I would point out to Jake, and Skip said this during his introductory press conference. He tried to not talk to the players.
True.
And to not hang around the clubhouse much. He didn't want to, as he said, be the guy who just drops in every now and then from the West Coast and tells guys what to do, which would kind of be usurping the authority of the coaches who are there day to day and going through the grind. So he's met a lot of the players for sure, but I don't know how well they know him.
Right.
You know, Jake Berger obviously knows him very well from their time together with the Marlins, but beyond that, you know, unless there are some guys from St. Louis who I'm missing, or from the Padres who I'm missing, I don't know that he's super tight with anybody on this team. So there is a trust factor and a get-to-know-you factor involved here too.
100%, and that's the process that's ongoing, but it won't be completed during the off season or even during spring training, right? I think some of the things that he wants them to trust in are his beliefs, which vary slightly from any other manager, not just Bruce Bochy, but literally any other manager. And then the way he delivers the message about what he believes in as a manager and how to be successful as a major league team, all those messages, you know, he earns trust from the players about those. And the best way to get that buy-in or get that success, or that trust, I should say, is to have success on the field. And, you know, it's not, again, not just in baseball. It's always different. The communication is so different between all the players. And Skip actually addressed this without addressing this as a question directly, but he addressed it in the press conference when he was talking about how he will approach sort of the superstar players. And he said, you're not sugarcoating anything. Even the greatest players, Hall of Fame players, and there's some in that clubhouse right now, those players don't feel like they've arrived. They want to evolve. They want to get better. The best players aren't happy with where they're at, right? So the recognition of that and then the delivery of that message, Chef, to the Corey Seagers, the Jacob deGroms, the Nathan Evaldis, the Marcus Simeons, right? That's huge, especially for a guy who was kind of he wasn't a great major league player.
Right.
They all are, right? or have been. He wasn't that. So his message has to be very clear, and he has to be very confident about delivering.
Well, and not only that, he needs those guys then to be his
Yep.
conduit to
Yep.
have the message trickle down from them, whether it's what they say or what they do. And if that means when all right, game situational baseball. Marcus Seaman is A, on the team, and B, where we expect him to be in the lineup down at the bottom, and he has an opportunity to move a guy to third from second to third, and he does it. The younger players and really all the players are going to see a guy who's 35 or 36, very accomplished with a sparkling back of his baseball card, and they're going to see him doing what the manager asked them to do. Well, then they can say, if this guy can do it, gosh, I guess we have no choice but to do it.
Right.
And but it's one thing to talk about it now, because he can have his introductory phone calls and take Marcus Simeon out to lunch or buy lunch for whoever else is in the area. But it's like, all right, he's got to fly to, maybe he flies to Tennessee to see Corey Seager.
Sure.
Okay, so you have these initial conversations, but until you're actually in the thick of it, until you're really probably at the start of spring training, only then does it start to resonate on the field, and only then can he really say, or point out or instruct or give feedback to the things that he wants to be done that aren't being done or that are being done. So now for the next 4 months, he's going to talk a lot,
Right.
but once they get to Arizona, he has to put his words into action.
And that's when that buy-in and that trust that I'm talking about really begins. Whether or not it's fully achieved during spring training is hard to say. Those are really fun baseball games, but they're not real. I mean, they're not real. The circumstances, they'll let guys come back into a game after they've already pitched. There's a lot of things different about those type of games, but the reality is they need those. I mean, they need the regular season games to have that total buy-in. I remember when Bill Parcells, and sometimes coaches get lucky like Parcells did when he first took over for the Cowboys. And somebody who I was on the radio with at the time doing Cowboy shows said, every day we work on this stupid play that would be like a kickoff type thing in overtime. And like one of the very first games of the year, the Cowboys were in the Meadowlands playing the Giants, and it went to overtime, and they used that play, and it worked. And all of a sudden, boom, buy-in, right, from veterans.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, as a veteran, you're just going to – it's natural. It's human nature to kind of question, what's this guy saying?
Yeah.
And then it works, and you go, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Jake clarifies, I hope the players trust CY with the hire. I would think they do. They see CY. They see the very competitive guy who, can say some fiery things at times to them, but they also see the guy who goes out and gets Merrill Kelly or Max Scherzer, and the guy who wants to win and give them the best chance, and they trust that if they're in contention, he is going to do that, and he hasn't let him down. I mean, let's say starting in, he got the job late in 22, so his first full season was 23. Look what he did in the offseason. Hired Bruce Bochy. He signed Jacob deGrom and Nathan Eovaldi. And then, they end up winning the World Series, but the roster was supplemented at the trade deadline. And then in the offseason, they stayed busy. Each of the last two off seasons, they've been pretty busy. And at each of the last two deadlines, to varying degrees, they've been active. So there's reasons for them to trust CY with his decision making. Sure. Now, Kelly Mann brings up a good point.
Agreed. I was going to say the same thing.
About the personal hitting coaches and the team batting approach. And this is something I was big on in April, because the offense wasn't clicking, and you got the sense that Johnny Ecker's job was on the line. And that's just it. The Rangers employ 3 hitting people, at the start of the season, it was Seth Connor, Justin Veely, who was handpicked by Donnie Ecker, and then Donnie Ecker. And he was kind of the offensive coordinator, if you will. But they have to deal with multiple individual hitting coaches that these players go and work with in the offseason and on a daily basis are talking to. And, you have to build those relationships too. And my understanding is that Corey Seager, his hitting guy, and the Rangers hitting coaches, very open line of communication. Jock Peterson has his own hitting guy.
Yeah.
Marlon Bird.
Yeah, Marlon Bird, former Ranger.
Of all people.
Yeah.
But like I've even heard it's more than that. It's
right.
It's Adolis had a new guy. Marcus Simeon has a hitting coach. I think Josh Smith. I think both Joshes do. But I've definitely heard Josh Smith. So yeah, and the thing that management that the front office said was that they don't mind the hitting coaches, but all they do is teach the mechanics of the swing. They don't teach hitting philosophy. And so there's where the gap is, I think. And so that's something that has to be closed. And, these guys, CY said it at the season-ending press conference. He was like, hey, these guys are going into the offseason knowing that they have to work on multiple swings, not just their A swing. And so it's already in motion, I think. And at the time, the Schumaker hire was almost done because that was a Friday morning press conference. And then at dinner time Friday night, they announced that Skip was going to be the manager. So obviously these were things that they had already talked about, and CY felt comfortable saying to us that these guys need to know how to do those things.
Sure.
Because that's how it's going to be next year.
Yeah, and furthermore, he talked about not just as it pertains to their hitting coach, but he talked about them having a whole offseason and spring training where the emphasis will be that style of offense, right? That's not the way they've been necessarily emphasizing it, and perhaps that's, a flaw in the approach previously. But this year, I promise you, that is going to be an emphasis, whether Brett Boone is there or not. I think that one of the reasons Brett Boone was there for the time that he was, and I hope he's back, but even if he's not, one of the reasons he was there in the first place is because CY knew and CY believes in that style, that approach to hitting on a daily basis, on an at-bat to at-bat basis.
Yeah, and then Michael asks, small ball and applying pressure from the plate. I think there'll be some small ball in there, but I think it's situational hitting. And if you consider small ball grounding out to second to get the guy from second to third, then maybe there's that. Skip wants to do whatever it takes to win, and if it's doing that, if you're facing Tarek Skubal, you have it's going to be hard as hell to score a run against him, but you have a chance to do so by manufacturing a run, stealing a base. Although Skubal. A bad example as a left-handed pitcher, but I'm just saying, and that's another thing Skip said, base running helps you score runs, and it sounds like they're going to be aggressive on the bases, both stealing bases and taking the extra base, going from first to third or whatever it is. Just all these components that he thinks are part of winning baseball.
Yeah.
These guys need to be ready for it because it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, and his Marlins team in 23, the year he won the National League Manager of the Year, and that Marlins team made the playoffs. That Marlins team was number one in baseball in bases taken, which is, going from first to third. It's, advancing on a pass ball, those types of things. They were number one in that category, statistically speaking. So I think that obviously could be, will be, will be a part of the future of this team. Whether or not they'll be number one in baseball, the Rangers, next year, who knows? But that's certainly a focus of his. So that's a little bit how Skip is going to approach the process of earning trust with some of the superstars on the team. There's a really pertinent quote to how he will work with guys who are sort of at the other end of the roster. We'll get to that. We'll also talk about how busy Skip Schumaker has been sort of delivering this message. It's all next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
And guys, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, where basically you have a decision to make: more or less in a certain stat in your lineup. You can select 2 to 6 players, and will they have more or less than 100 passing yards? Bad example. Will they have more than 1.5 total bases? Things like that. Things that are really easy, or you think they are, to choose. But being right, it's really satisfying. I'm in a little bit of a slump. I haven't been right a lot. I've already got one in for tonight's NFL game, ready to go with my pick there in my lineup. But it's just fun. Prize Picks is fun, and they want to give you an opportunity to build some lineups for free. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
For those of you watching on the YouTube channel, we appreciate that. And I know it's not smell-o-vision, but smell that? I say that to the crew here. Smell that? No, of course you don't. Cat doesn't either, and women are known to have much better noses than us friggin', Cro-Magnon guys.
That's right.
And I don't smell. That's why. I don't smell, because I use Mando. If I smell, I smell good. But again, I'm still just using the deodorant wipes, and they have a pleasant odor when you put it on, but it's not a lingering odor that sometimes could be a little bit like, geez, what's he doing here, right? So anyway, got to get your Mando. Get your Mando on $5 off the starter pack if you go to Mando.com and use the code DLLS. Mando is a fantastic product for men. So let's get to some more of the questions too, and we'll talk more of your comments. We always appreciate those. But as it pertains to guys who aren't superstars, I like the quote also from the press conference, and we just haven't gotten to everything that Skip said because it was a good long, almost an hour long press conference. But Skip said in the press conference last week, my least favorite phrase is, this is just who they are. He said, that's a lazy quote from a coach. That is not what I want. That's not what I expect, and I think the players will know that. And that's, I think, a really good point. That will push guys, and I guess that applies to guys sort of at the back of the rod, but even to guys who are superstars. So, well, yeah, that's just who Adolis Garcia is. Well, no, right? And again, I don't know that Adolis will be here to get that message, but, that's just who he is. He's going to chase. He's going to swing at balls outside the zone. Well, and the Rangers, in fairness, tried to make him, correct that.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work. And ultimately, I suppose there may be a time where you have to go, you know what? That is just who he is. I'll be damned. They were right. That is who he is.
Yeah.
But I like Skip's thought process on that. Look, challenge them. Say,
right.
Wait, why do you have to be that? You don't have to be that just because they've always said that's who you are.
Yeah.
You can be something else. Expand your horizons.
Players are allowed to get better.
100%.
They practice. They pitchers work on pitch grips. They do stuff in the off season. The guys at Driveline and other places. It's so if a guy has a bad outing or bad season, DFA him or get rid of this guy, send him to the minors.
Yeah.
Look at the big picture and understand that everybody has bad days, but they're in the major leagues and they're really good and they can always improve. And a lot of them know they have to improve on this team. Marcus Semien knows he has to get better. I'm sure Adolis does too, and Jonah Heim does too. I don't know that they'll get that opportunity with the Rangers. Corey Seager needs to get better.
Sure.
And it's not necessarily what he does at the plate. It's taking care of his body. Wyatt Langford, needs to figure out why he keeps having oblique injuries. Yep. And he needs to be tougher with 2 strikes. So everybody is always a work in progress. I need to get better at this. I need to get better at writing. I need to get better at talking. And sometimes I go back and listen to the questions I ask interviewers. I'm like, wow,
I do the same thing.
Question
I know.
that? You know,
because often I don't ask a question.
Yeah.
It's a conversation sometimes, so
Right.
I'm continuing the
Yeah.
conversation, but I'm like, ask a damn question, fool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly what you.
Yeah, I need to get better at prize picks. So anyway, players are allowed to get better, and it is nice to hear Skip say that because as reporters at spring training, a huge storyline every year is the bench.
Yep.
It ultimately doesn't, really isn't a huge story in regards to the big picture of the season. But God, we want to know the last guys on that roster. we really do. And also,
Is Ezekiel Duran gonna make it?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also, a lot of times it comes down to guys like Travis Jankowski, like great guys, veteran guys, hanging on in camp, minor league deals. They get some grace and try to tell them ahead of time so that they can make plans for their family and all that stuff. And so and Skip might have been that guy at the end.
Sure.
And again, he was only a full-time player for like 3 or 4 seasons in his career. So I'm sure he kind of can relate to a lot of them, as could Bruce Bochy,
Sure.
And Chris Woodward and even Jeff Bannister, who had one career at bat.
Yeah.
Ron Washington, who was a career part-time player
Sure.
and had to win it, felt like he had to win a job every spring. Maybe they make better managers, a little more compassion and understanding there.
Mm-hmm. I buy that. And again, we've said it before, the guys who are great, and we went through this the other day in basketball too, but the guys who are great generally don't make great managers.
Yeah.
Ted Williams, I told Tom Grieve, we're going to get Tom Grieve on here soon. I talked to Tom this weekend, but he always used to say, Ted Williams just told us, just go out there and do it. Well, he can't. We're not Ted Williams. So some of the greatest players do not make great managers. And maybe, to your point, Jeff, some of those guys that really – and the other thing about those guys that really had to fight for everything they got in Major League Baseball, when you're not playing, you're observing, right? You're watching what the manager does. You're thinking the game, and that's the real job of a manager is to think the game. Now, having people skills, which, CY's raved about Skip Schumaker's people skills and his ability with people, and I think it's pretty clear that he has that. But so having people skills doesn't hurt, but your first priority, your first necessity is to think the game, and that's what Boch did so well too.
Yeah, and you always heard, especially during the postseason run, Boch is 2 steps ahead of the other guy. He's 2 steps ahead of anybody else, and listening to him this year, especially late. Maybe starting with that last series at Houston, the sweep that pretty much ended things.
Yep.
Just listening to the decisions he was having to make with a roster that was not built for long-term success. And he's out there weighing all these things. And 6th inning, he's making these decisions. But he's talking about, well, if I do this, then I'm out of players, and they're going to know that. And I might have to lose my DH.
Yeah.
And just all these things that he needed to say to us, even those of us who've been doing it for a long time, because it's like, man, I didn't think about the 8th inning.
Good point. Yes.
I was just thinking about the moment in time.
Yeah. And we did have, it just so happened that first game in Houston, I remember that on the day after it, we brought up on the show here a lot of things. You brought up, as well as the other writers in Houston, that they brought up a lot of those same things to Boch, and that's where he kind of clarified what his thought process were. Like, guys, if you think I didn't think of this, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he and it was getting to him,
big time.
You're being second guessed of choosing between picking up day-old, 2-day-old food or 3-day-old food,
right?
And it just started to bug him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's why he's no longer a manager, because he kept managing like
he really
end
did
of the season.
Yeah.
And he really, I kind of admire it. Just he never stopped, and that tells you how bad he wants to win.
Right.
And I hope that told the players that too. And I think the opportunity for the Rowdy Telezes of the world to play, the pinch hit every day, you have to stay ready. And so it's intense though, you don't get a day off. Your mind doesn't get to rest. You start to learn when you might be used off the bench, and so back to the bench player thing that Skip's talking about, and guys are getting better. He's going to dedicate a lot of time and resources to those guys.
Yes.
He's gonna be like, hey, why don't you go take some swings and get ready? I might need you in the seventh. Or, hey, let's keep you sharp. Let's give Corey Seager a day off, and you go in there and play shortstop, series finale or whatever. He's going to be aware that it takes 26 to
Sure.
and to be a winning team.
Yeah, absolutely right. I've noticed that Skip has a pretty busy, obviously he has a busy schedule with the team, and he knows this from being a manager before. When you're a manager, the media schedule becomes somewhat, big and huge and busy all the time too. And he's been making the rounds, as they say it. When people used to go up to ESPN, for a day, coaches and stuff, they'd say, yeah, I went through the car wash, which means you basically got on every show, right? You went from one studio to the other studio, two different hosts, all the way through. You went through the car wash. Skip's kind of doing that. Of course, he was on our show the very first day after of the press conference, and he was on the radio that day. I think maybe on the ticket that day, and then he made the rounds talking to all the different local TV people, and then he's been on MLB Network. And I see our buddy Mike Reiner, your Dark Companions, promoting that he's got Skip. Right, Skip's out there delivering this message, and I think that I don't remember that necessarily being true with Boch when he got here.
Yeah.
So maybe the message, didn't need to be delivered quite as importantly. Maybe, and great for Rangers PR and Rich Rice and everybody. Like, you want to get Skip out there because people don't know him that well. Everybody kind of knew who Boch was and what Boch was. And then he surprised us by being even better than that, right?
He was awesome.
He was. But Skip's great too. And maybe this is part of that process for Rich Rice. Hey, let's get him out there and people can, A, get to know him, which you really like him, and B, hear all these things we're talking about and what a great baseball mind he has.
Well, and from Skip's perspective, it's important for him to get to know us because, we're going to be talking to him twice a day.
Yep.
Every day. And so there's that as well. But and I don't know that there was a
concerted,
a lack of I don't know. Maybe the fan base, maybe they got signals from their attendance numbers or demographics or whatever that they were lagging behind this year in certain areas. Always a possibility, but the Rangers expect to be good, and the guy you're going to hear from the most is Skip Schumaker, and so as he builds a relationship with the players, he needs to build a relationship with the fans. Be say the right things, be energetic, and want to win, and then go out and do it. And of course, spring training, the wins don't matter, but then you get into that season. March 25th, I think this year is when it starts. Jesus,
early.
At Philadelphia, maybe it's the 26th. Either way, too early. But that's when his butt's on the line.
Yep.
It starts right then. He's in the hot seat. And I guarantee you, if they lose the game and he makes a boneheaded decision, people are going to be like, "Oh, should have never fired Bochy, or should have brought Bochy back." So it's a deal, man. I mean, nobody gets second guessed more than the manager of the major league team.
Yeah.
And we can do it after every game, and we do it after.
Sure.
Even wins. It's like, hey, what were you thinking on this one, or whatever. But it is important for him to get out.
Yep.
And it's important for his face to be there, because you talk about, well, who's the face of the franchise? Is it Corey Seager, or is it Wyatt Langford? It's kind of the manager.
Yes, it is, and especially if the manager is dynamic and embraces that role, and it definitely appears that Skip does. He's got that personality. He's got that. He's gregarious. He's outgoing. He's funny, and those are not necessarily characteristics that exist in either one of those two men you mentioned, right? Wyatt's They're both great guys. They're great guys, but that's not, if they didn't need to do that because of their job as baseball players, that's not who they'd be at all.
Yeah, no, I'm liking how Wyatt is how
Moving,
he's
yep.
moving the not that there's a wrong direction, but he's moving kind of more in a right direction. I think he recognizes who he is and has the potential to be in his career, as far as being a guy that his teammates will look to and the media will look to, and he can, you can joke around with him about stuff like talking about Florida football.
Sure.
At the time after they just lost to South Florida, and just things like that. And then his answers are getting a little more in depth. Sometimes you can ask him a question and you get the one sentence, which never really works. And with Corey, Corey hates talking about himself, which I guess is admirable. He always tries to give credit to his teammates and such, but you can always also kind of tell when Corey's had enough.
Yep. Yep.
And and again, he is a little harder to get pregame. Well, forget it. He's a lot harder to get pregame.
Yeah, nearly impossible.
After the game, he's generally there, and he understands if he hits 2 home runs that, hey, people are going to want to talk to me. But it takes time to do that, and they have the time because there are 26 other guys that might do something great that day. Where a Skip has to do it twice a day,
no matter what,
rain or shine,
no matter what,
win or loss, and so it is important for him to get up there.
Yeah, it is. So good on him for doing that. More coming up. We're going to talk playoffs. We got a couple of games today in the CSs, the NL and the AL, both active today. So we'll get to that next. The DLLS Rangers podcast.
And look, we've already had one successful chatter.
Yeah.
At the very top of the show. Join the supporters club. Our chatter of the day. And you need to
Trumper
positively be like Jackie.
Yeah.
And join the supporters club. $5 or $15. It's exclusive stuff. Like emojis, which Ardell and Rarities. I don't think Rarities is here today. What's going on? Well, they like to flex their muscles and show those off.
Yeah.
The other level gets you videos like the one John and I shot last week talking about the managers we dealt with. There will be more of that to come. Look at T.O.
There you go, T.O.
You the man, T.O. The point is, be like T.O., be like Jackie, and now Akshay, Landon, Geese 88, Joey Badass, Liquid Burrito.
Yeah.
Anyway, join them because you don't know what you're missing, and you're missing a lot. So become a member of that supporters.
That's awesome. T.O., thank you again so much. We always appreciate you. And don't forget about our newsletter. It's free. All you do is go to our website, alldlls.com, scroll all the way to the bottom. You'll see the sign up button there. All you have to do is enter your email, and you will get our newsletter in your inbox every day. Today, it's chock full of information. There's something about every one of our teams, Cowboys, Mavs, Stars, and Rangers. Ali, depending on the day, will just write about one team, or he'll write about a lot of teams. He's got a fun little note about Shaq in there too. So there's so many things that you could get for free if you just subscribe to our newsletter. All we want is your email. So go to the website, do that today. We'd appreciate that as well. Okay, so man, 2 games today. I think they're at 5 and 7:30 our time, something like that.
The Dodgers lineup. The Dodgers lineup has just been posted.
Okay,
according to the Twitter.
Okay, good. That's beautiful. So you've got the Dodgers and the Brewers. That's game 3, and you've got the continuation of that American League Championship Series, which exploded last night. There's just no doubt about that. It was an amazing thing. The Mariners get a 2-run bomb from Julio Rodriguez in the bottom of the first off. I always want to call him Justin, but it's Shane Bieber. I don't think Justin Bieber can throw quite like that. And look, there were a lot of questions about Bieber going into it. He's been hurt. What's he going to be? Can he handle this? He did great, other than the 2-run bomb to Julio Rodriguez. He was unbelievable. Did a great job yesterday, and that place went nuts. Went nuts when Julio Rodriguez. I mean, they were ready to explode ever since Game 5, which was so big that it registered on the Richter scale and all those kinds of things. So, and then I'll be darned if the Blue Jays didn't just come back and they got up. I think they got up by as much as 12 or maybe even all 13-2. And it was just an onslaught, and it was the Blue Jays sort of offense that we've seen and talked about, plus some. Vladdy was 4 for 4, hit a home run, was a triple shy of the cycle, and
he had 2 doubles, right?
He had 2 doubles, and I think it was Jeter asked him on the postgame show. He said, "Vladdy," and I didn't know Vladdy spoke such good English, but he was. I knew he did, but I didn't know he did interviews as such. But he was on with Derek Jeter, so I guess if anybody's going to make you speak English, it'll be the captain. But Derek Jeter asked him, "Vladdy, why didn't you go to third?" And Vladdy said, "Well, my base coach was telling me stop. I want to go to third too. Base coach telling me stop." And so like a good player who trusts his coach, he trusted, but he said, if that, and Jeter goes, "Just say you were blinking and you missed it," And so he said, "Next time I will." But he really, I think he said in that interview, there's never been a cycle in the postseason in Major League Baseball.
Oh, that's interesting.
So Vladdy had how about that? So Vladdy had a chance to accomplish that. Nobody really cares because the Blue Jays got themselves right back into this series. And, again, as a guy who watched George Kirby shove a couple of times against the Tigers, although the Tigers did get to him once, George Kirby just wasn't the same George Kirby last night. I don't know. Maybe the Blue Jays had something to do with that. But
these scouts are amazing.
Yeah.
And maybe he was off, and the results would suggest he was off. But scouts, they've probably been scouting this team for weeks.
Yeah.
Seen all of his starts. And
yep. Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, I was. I think I had mentioned, that Toronto fans travel pretty well to Seattle, and I was looking at the Googling it, and there's a big story, multiple stories in the Seattle market about invasion of Blue Jays fans.
Yep.
And so that's that. I was wondering how that would play out, and then Vlad Sr. could speak English, but he never did. But he understood our question.
Sure. Yeah. That same thing, and
fine.
Again,
and that's fine.
No, it is. Yeah. It is, and because the reason they don't want to do it, foreign speaking players don't want to do it, in the media is they might say something wrong just because of the language, and they just don't want that to be used against them. And I mean, Darvish was that way. He grew up speaking English.
Both his parents met at college in
went
Florida.
to college here. Yeah, and so, but I think he ended up. Does he do any interviews now in English?
I don't know. I mean,
but he talks to us.
We talk
talks to us in English. So anyway, I understand it, but it is especially it's harder for people in broadcast than it is in print, because in print you can get the exact words that he said in broadcast.
In print you can clean it up for him. And,
yes.
If he has the wrong, subject verb agreement.
Right.
All right, well, we'll just fix that.
Yeah, we'll clean it.
Yeah.
So Cal Raleigh hit 63 yesterday, number 63. And, of course, it doesn't count, right? I mean, I shouldn't say it doesn't count. It counts, but it doesn't count in the home run total. That's a regular season record. And so he finished with 60, 2 shy of the record, which, of course, was set by Aaron Judge at Globe Life Field a few years ago. And that year, by the way, Judge hit 2 in the postseason. So he got to 64. So Cal's going to need another one to get to 64. This, speaking of Cal, though, I didn't notice this on the Gold Glove list yesterday when we talked about that, Jeff, but he is not a finalist.
Right, I saw that, yeah.
How in the hell is he not a finalist in the Gold Glove Award, he didn't have a passed ball all season. He caught more games than anybody else, more innings, more pitches. I don't. Who are the finalists there? Let's see.
Carlos Narvaez.
Okay.
Dylan Dingler.
Oh, Dingler.
And Alejandro Kirk, who's
Kirk
a perennial
yeah,
finalist.
Yeah. Those, I mean, Dingler and Kirk especially.
Dingler can throw the hell out of the ball.
Yeah. But man, I just can't believe.
You go from platinum glove to not.
Yeah, he was a platinum glove last year,
finalist.
and he didn't have a bad year. So, really strange there. So, yeah, that's the American League Championship Series. They play Game 3 tonight. Or is that the earlier one? No, that's the later one, right?
Game 4 of that series.
I mean, 4.
Tonight.
Yeah, 4 is tonight.
The late game.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens in that series. The Blue Jays obviously need a win to take it back home, but they'll be buoyed a little bit by the offense that they showed last night. Nobody hits like that in that ballpark, so good on them. The Dodgers, of course, have a 2-0 lead, and that was after the Brewers swept the season series from the Dodgers during the year, 6-0. Right. And boom, LA's got everybody healthy. They go in there and they pitch great. I mean, they really didn't give the Brewers a chance. The Brewers never had one runner in scoring position in either of those 2 games.
Wow.
So you got to have runners in scoring position in order to score, right? I mean, you don't have to. You can hit home runs, I guess. But other than that, it'd be nice to get a guy in scoring position. So that's a big one today. And again, Dodgers just keep throwing great pitchers at you. Shohei won't pitch until tomorrow's Game 4. But Shohei did take batting practice yesterday. Did you see this?
I did.
First time all season that Shohei has taken batting practice. When he came out, they used his walk-up music and the place, again, there's nobody in there, but the place went nuts, if you will, because his teammates were all fired up. And this was, I don't know if it was scripted by Dave Roberts or by Shohei or whatever, but like the team that needs has a 2-0 lead needs a little jolt, right?
Well, I mean, he hasn't been very good.
That's
Shohei.
right.
And
right.
Sometimes you just need to mix it up and change your routine. And he does not come out for batting practice. Corey Seager does not hit on the field either. Jonah Heim usually doesn't hit. Probably needs 2 more. Anyway, so I mean, he's trying to shake a slump, so it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah. So we'll see how he does, and if he gets out of that slump tonight. Postseason ratings are up. This is only through the ALDS. I've been meaning to get to this note ever since earlier in the week, but they're up 30%. That Game 5 Friday night that went so late, especially for people in the East, that Game 5 drew almost 9 million viewers, which in baseball terms and especially in ALDS terms is unbelievable. Highest rated game in some 15 years in Major League Baseball on Fox, Major League Baseball's playoff coverage. So that's cool. And then every day that and we talk about the manager having 2 interviews per day. Every day that you don't play during this time of year, the managers are available. At Pat Murphy's availability yesterday, he brought his son, and there was a great moment during the press conference yesterday with Pat Murphy and his son, 10 years old.
Actually, this question is for Austin.
Go, Austin.
Everybody hears your dad talking all the time. So based on your inside knowledge of the Brewers, what do they have to do to get out of this 2-0 deficit they're facing?
Just stick with it and keep battling through it. I think they can do it. And, I believe they can do it.
What makes you believe?
Well, the guys respond back really good. Like, started the season 0-4. Those games were not good, but then they responded with the best record in baseball, so I believe they can do it.
Everybody's looking at him during that interview. I'm watching his dad.
Yeah.
The entire time. His dad, especially at the end, beaming with pride. Like, he said the right thing,
Right.
That was great. That was really cool.
Yeah, the dad was probably, had probably heard those words before.
100 times, yeah.
Maybe with some curse words.
A 10-year-old, Austin, a 10-year-old is going to talk to his dad about the games and about the season a lot. He's very interested in it. So, pretty cool. A little bit that happened. And let's get to this real quick because A-Rod, of course, is a part of the Fox coverage, and he was headed to the set or something yesterday, and they've got this set up outside, and A-Rod's like, okay, I'll do a little cornhole with you, young man. You throw first. Go ahead and try to hit yours in, and then watch A-Rod. Not really even in line, and boom. Okay, how about that? A swish. A-Rod, off he goes. So, talent is talent, Jeff. I always said Major League, anybody, any professional athlete, really, you make it as a pro somewhere, you can play any sport. And A-Rod probably be pretty good at cornhole.
Yeah. It looks like he is with a barrier in front of him and from the side angle. So
shades on. So anyway, of course, cornhole's a beer drinking sport anyway. So that's one of the things I like about it. All right, more coming up. It's the cleanup segment. Some of the questions you've already thrown at us or continue to throw at us, we'll get to as well. That's all next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
First of all, I forgot to mention this. Pat Murphy's still getting it done at an older age.
Yes, he is.
66-year-old boy.
10-year-old.
What does that tell you? Do the math. All right. Anyway, become a diehard member. That's where you get keen insight like that. Like 56. Pat Murphy getting it done at 56. Had a baby. Anyway, you also get stories about the Texas Rangers, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Mavs, Dallas Stars. And hopefully our horizons are expanding as we continue to grow. I'd love to see some TCU Horned Frogs coverage that I guess I could provide if I really wanted to. I don't know. Anyway, it's not expensive to do this. It's $79.99 for 1 year. You get a free T-shirt, and again, you get access to like the Discord. You get 20% off of our events. There's all kind of benefits to being a diehard. So go ahead and do that today.
Yeah, we'd encourage you to do that, and we'd encourage you to go ahead and accept the free shirt they're going to give you. There's tons to choose from. I'm wearing one of the Dallas collection today. Oh, I am shirtless today.
I am wearing the hat.
Oh, he's got the hat. Okay. So anyway, all kinds of great merchandise available at store.allcitynetwork.com. We are fans. I'm wearing Dallas collection shirt today, and it's one of my favorites. But all of them, we've got between us, we've got dang near probably 50 pieces of wearable items.
Yeah,
and
we're not messing around.
No, we're not. And we don't, like Jeff said, one of the days this week, we don't buy it because, as a bit, right? We buy it because we like it. So we hope that you will, too. The holidays are, of course, coming. Gift it to somebody. Send them a shirt or a hat or a mug or a flag that helps us represent DLLS. Store.allcitynetwork.com. All right, so let's get to some of these cleanup segments. The Phillies add 1 year to Rob Thompson's deal. They had their big press conference today.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, we saw earlier in the week that Rob Thompson was going to be there, which led to the speculation that he wasn't going to get fired. I didn't see him at the press conference, frankly. And maybe that's because he was kind of hoping it was going to be 3 years or something that they added.
Yeah, maybe.
They added,
a little hot.
And it's Dombrowski. It's, Dave Dombrowski's there now. And he added 1 year. So he's good through 26. That sucks in some ways, right? That whole, you're okay.
You're kind of a lame duck again.
Yeah.
You're going to have to answer the same questions the
whole year,
the whole time. And, but I guess it beats being unemployed.
No doubt.
Yeah.
There's certainty, right? There's there's certainty for at least that year. So that's what happened in Philly today. Austin Hedges, this actually happened yesterday. I had it in the show. We didn't get to it. But Austin signs another 1 year deal with Cleveland for $4 million.
Yeah.
And then he's got incentives, I think, that could pay him maybe close to $1 million if he reaches certain levels of playing time. But you know what? Again, good for him.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy who, even when the Rangers got him back in 23, he was a guy who was like, hey, he's a good catcher, but he can't hit. right?
Right.
And he continues, all these. So he's had 24, 25, and now 26 to continue. And $4 million is what he earned last year too. So,
he knows who he is.
Just not a lot of jobs out there where you can make $4 million a year.
Yeah. And, he, of course, has the reputation as the amazing teammate. And the Rangers saw it firsthand. The guy might be the worst offensive player in baseball. He really might be. His OPS this year was 527. And his career OPS is 556. He did hit 5 home runs this year. He had at least one hit in that series against the Rangers. He made a start, but he batted 161 this year.
Yep.
All right. So, Josh Naylor's brother, Bo, is their main guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't have a great year, to be honest. But, Hedges is terrific defensively. He'll lift your spirits. And apparently the Guardians can't live without him.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They just love him, and good for them. And like you say, he knows who he is. Good for him. Like, I'm the worst offensive player in baseball, and he might look and say the same thing, actually. Yeah. But somebody's going to pay me $4 million to be who I am as a catcher and as a team leader and sort of cheer.
I'm telling you, the happiest guy in Globe Life Field when Adolis Garcia hit the walk-off homer was Austin Hedges because he was on deck.
Yep.
And so that meant he didn't have to bat.
Didn't have to hit. And how many times when he wasn't on deck did we see him leap over the railing? I mean, he showed some athleticism and some dexterity getting over that railing every time to go celebrate. So that was pretty cool. So we take you to Rome now, and you say, what the heck baseball is going on in Rome? Pope Leo is in Rome, and he's at some sort of a papal parade, and somebody shouts out to him, "Go Cubs!" And you see what he says there: "Han perdido." They lost. So it's so cool that the Pope has time to first of all is a baseball fan. Secondly, has time to sort of keep up with it.
Right.
Like, he's got a whole global church to run, but by God, he knew that the Cubs had lost, and that's because he's such a White Sox fan, as we've chronicled before. So that is pretty cool. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Ravens last week in Baltimore. This week, the Rams play in England. So when you go to England from Los Angeles, Jeff, you have to fly over the whole country.
Yeah.
So the Rams said, why are we going to fly all the way back from here across the whole country and then fly all the way back again? That's going to make the travel so difficult to England. So let's practice here. The Ravens are like, well, our field's busy. We've got our own practice.
Yeah.
So they hauled off and went to Camden Yards. How about that? Camden Yards was never a dual-purpose facility, Jeff.
Right.
And it looks like, I can't tell for sure, it looks like maybe a football field wouldn't fit in Camden Yards because it looks like they've got, a portion of it over there and right down the first base line in right field going the wrong way, right? So I don't know that they got 100 yards to work with, but they're close in any event, and pretty cool. And then they got to spend the rest of the winter getting rid of those stripes. It's pretty fun I'm sure, for the Rams.
Yeah.
And it's great for their body clocks to have 3 less time zones to have to travel through a couple of times.
Yeah, and the main portion of the field was on the visitors' clubhouse side.
That's right.
The visitors' clubhouse, much like Globe Life Field, is the third base in Baltimore. And it's a pretty good-sized visiting clubhouse.
It is.
Now, I don't know if they can get 52 or 53, however many players on a roster these days, but it'll get the job done.
Yeah, and they'll no doubt have access to using both if they want to. So, anyway, that you don't very often see that. And the Rams, I've seen videos since where they're, running out onto the field all excited, pretending they're swinging a baseball bat and all that kind of stuff. So, nice cooperation there between a couple of professional teams. So, a few things we want to get to. Kelly Mann talking about, when the Guardians signing of their own free agent, Austin Hedges, for $4 million, prompted him to say it's why the Rangers should be signing Sean Armstrong right now, and they should. We think so too. He'd like to get it done. They can do it. They have exclusive rights even during the postseason. So hopefully that's something they can get done. They do have a lot on their plate just with getting the manager hired and now the assistant coaches as well.
Yeah, and I checked in with a coach yesterday. He said, it's kind of status quo, so no news there. They've talked and waiting for the next development.
Yeah,
and again, I think the guys who have the chance to be back or know they're going to be back are, okay.
Yes,
and I just don't know about some of these other guys. And the hitting coach is the big one. And I don't know. It's time for Brett Boone to drop another podcast episode where he can explain where things stand or something. Kind of let us know what's happening. But it needs to be done soon. I mean, we're already halfway through the month,
right?
And while it has been a slower pace to fill these other managerial vacancies, it seems like you still want as much time as possible. Get your resume out there and call the people with the various teams and let them know, hey, I'm available.
Yes, and we know very, very well that Skip wants to get it done sooner rather than later, especially, obviously, for the guys who won't be back, so they have more time. It does beg the question, and I don't know that they care about doing it all at once. They often have, though, in the past, and if they're trying to do it all at once, perhaps there's a coach on another staff that's still playing, and that's the holdup here.
Yeah, and I noticed that, or I saw that the Orioles, speaking of, are intending to interview Albert Pujols.
Saw that too,
which is really interesting.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking is for Pujols, when he gets to assemble his coaching staff, wherever it is, he played with Bobby Wilson.
He did.
So I would think that, speaking of former Rangers coaches, there would be opportunity for Bobby Wilson to sign on with Albert Pujols, and even if it is in L.A. I know Bobby lives in Florida. He probably doesn't want to make that commute. Not that he has to do it every day, but he probably would like to be closer to home. Baltimore would certainly be closer to home for him.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's one to keep an eye on. Wherever Albert Pujols goes, if he goes anywhere, check and see if Bobby Wilson might go with him.
Yeah, it's a good thought. I wondered if Albert was just trying to get Artie Moreno to money whip him on, by taking the Orioles interview, but it does also speak to how well thought of Albert is as a candidate. Earlier, somebody asked about Pudge, and where was that one, Kat? Just up a little bit. Yeah, any chance Pudge takes? No. There's no chance Pudge will be an assistant coach. He's got way too many things going on in his world and in his life. And I wonder if he's not Ted Williams, right, of coaches. I wonder if he wouldn't be, and I love the guy. I mean, he's a good friend and all that, but I don't know that he'd be a great coach because he was so great at what he did.
Right. And, there's got to be a buy-in to do the 162 again, plus spring training and possibly the postseason.
Yes.
And I don't know that Pudge is there.
No. And he's obviously made a lot of money as a player. He's made a lot of money in post-playing business ventures. So not that money is the only motivator for people who go into coaching. I'm not saying that. But sometimes it's a really good motivator. And so Pudge isn't there either. He doesn't need that. So I don't think that we'll see Pudge Rodriguez being a coach for the Rangers or anybody else anytime soon. He loves the game, though. He absolutely loves the game and loved every minute of his career. So
we shouldn't ignore our GM, who asks, I'm seeing way too many TikTok videos having us connected as a possibility for Schwarber. Should I be getting my hopes up at all? No, you shouldn't.
Nope.
He's going to get too much money. And hey, why do the Rangers need Schwarber? They got Jock Peterson.
That's right. For goodness sake, they paid for that guy last year.
That's right.
And they're still paying this year. So hopefully Jock Peterson will look a little bit more like Jock Peterson this year, and we'll see where Kyle Schwarber goes. So, yeah, I appreciate you grabbing GM Ben in there. He changes his emojis and stuff all the time. I don't think I remember that one. So, anyway.
Whatever.
Thanks, Ben. That's going to do it. We're back tomorrow. Fun week talking about all this. We're still hoping, waiting for more news to come out of Globe Life Field and what's happening with the Rangers. Whether it happens or not, though, we're here tomorrow. We're here to talk with you about what we think should happen, what we think might happen, or to tell you what will happen. That's all coming tomorrow on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.